Saturnastra Melina. This is chapter 13, the Metamorphosis. By some fluke or miracle, nobody has seen Augustus change into his new form. A night in guard duty, this saw Augustus challenging Melina in mortal combat. However, he did not pay any attention to the fight since he had grown weary of Augustus constantly dueling everyone he ran into. And finally did awake as a result of the sound of lightning, but she returned to sleep. And the next morning, Impede noticed the armor and the sword near the lake. And it wasn't too uncommon for some maidens to take a dip in the lake, and she started suspecting foul play when Augustus disappeared for one whole day. And he always ate dinner with her whenever he visited Sassari, and even if he had left, he would have given notice. And after searching for Augustus for a big week, Impede questioned the last person he had spoken to, and the first person she questioned was Lucrezia, and she found her in the study playing Impede, Melina's bizarre new pet, and she was feeding it spoonfuls of honey. "What has become of your sister, Lucrezia?" inquired Impede, referring to Augustus. "I am not my sister's keeper's mother. She is old enough to take care of herself," said Lucrezia, petting the large weasel-like creature. "I know, but what was the last thing she said to you before she disappeared?" inquired Impede. "Nothing, just the usual infatuated ramblings about Melina," said Lucrezia. "Ah, so you noticed too," said Impede sadly. "Everyone has noticed. She has become a completely different person ever since she was defeated by Melina in battle," said Lucrezia. "Melina should have held back, or she should have at least pretended to struggle a little before winning the fight. Maybe then losing would not have affected her so," said Impede. "I am glad she lost, Mama," said Lucrezia. Augustus whimpered when he heard this. It was at that moment when Impede noticed a strange creature in Lucrezia's lap. "What is that?" "A weasel or a badger, I think. Melina said she found it by the lake," answered Lucrezia. "Are you certain that is what she said? This is a closed area. No animal of this type could sneak inside the palace grounds without going unnoticed," said Impede, pointing at it. "I would not be so certain about it, Mother, and we do get rodents from time to time, and a street cat or two," said Lucrezia, putting Augustus on the floor. Augustus was still not used to walking on four legs, and from time to time he would have the reflex of walking on his hind legs, and he would quickly revert back as a result of the added stress to his back leg. And one of the toy dogs of the palace passed by Augustus, and he started barking at him. As was his habit, Augustus started whimpering and growling, and the dog quickly backed away when he noticed that Augustus was serious about fighting it to the death. Augustus made his way to Melina's room, and ever since his transformation, Melina at least tolerated his presence. Augustus scratched at the door to make his presence known, and he showed his fangs when he noticed how easily the paint had fallen off as a result of his claws. And it was Baron who opened the door for him, and Baron was carrying his puppy, which started whimpering and barking when he saw Augustus. And Baron said to Melina, "When are you going to get rid of that thing?" "Why, it certainly may not be the cutest pet, but it is a lot more knightly than the puppy you always carry around, Baron dear," said Melina, laughing. "Does it have a name?" inquired Baron. "Her name is Agustina, I think. Or maybe Augustus," responded Melina. "Oh, I see what you did," said Baron, laughing, and he added, "This weasel certainly looks like her a lot, and look, it's just as grumpy as well." Augustus stoically ignored the fibbing, and he walked towards his doggy bed, and he sat down, and he noticed that Melina was combing her hair up and was putting on a hat, and she was wearing one of her bizarre, simple-looking pink dresses with a magenta ribbon in her high waist. And she had a picnic basket and a large purse linen, and Baron looked to the side and commented, "Are you going somewhere?" "I am going to the city," said Melina. "Even I get bored of the paradise life from time to time." "You should dress like a peasant girl to avoid muggers, Mother. Or even better, you should dress like a knight the same way as Augustus, and take a sword too," said Baron, brandishing an imaginary sword. "If I wear anything else, then the people in the city will not recognize me, and it's fine, nothing bad will happen, and you can be certain of it," said Melina, picking up Augustus and putting him inside the picnic basket. "How can you carry something so heavy?" commented Baron. "It's fine, Baron, it's fine," said Melina disdainfully. Baron did not look too convinced, and Melina left her room carrying Augustus in her basket, and from time to time he would peep out to observe his surroundings. And Augustus was able to see how arduous Melina worked in the day she did not entertain her benefactors. And Melina visited the paupers and noblemen alike, and she also delivered 2 babies, and she pulled out 30 cavities. and she delivered dangerous and gave generous alms to whatever drifter she ran into. Anyone in the city of Sassari seemed to know Melina. And close to that, she went to the gaming house, and she sat at the teetotum table, which already had a player. And among them was Boris, who had controlled gambling, addiction to gambling. And when he saw Melina, he saluted her and said, "Hi, Melina, did you come today to clean out the table?" "Not today, Boris." And she added, "Did you complete my little errand?" One of the gambling men laughed and said, "So Boris is running your little errands, aren't you?" My, how the mighty have fallen. Boris ignored the player's remark, and he blew on the spinning top for good luck, and Melina crossed her hands while the top turned, and Boris ended up winning the entire pot loot, and it had grown to a whopping 500 gold coins. And Boris took his earnings and he left the table, and Melina followed behind, and whenever Melina's presence helped him win, Boris started the share part of the profit. And Boris sat at the bar while Melina sat beside him, and she put up her picnic basket on the table, and Augustus reared his head out of the basket. The barkeeper, a brawny dwarf, frowned when he saw Melina's odd pet, and he pointed to the sign that said, "No pets allowed." Melina gingerly placed a few golden coins on the table, which the barkeep took, and then he removed the sign that said, "No pets allowed." Boys and a dear, a drunkard said, "What type of critter is it?" "I was wondering the same thing," said Boris. "Now, Melina, really, do tell me what it is," inquired Boris. Augustus made an odd whimper sound, which drew attention to a few drunkards and a lady over her shoulder to see the source of the sound, and the rest were oblivious to it, and the bars were usually crowded and noisy. "Tell us what it is," insisted another person. "What does it taste like? Can you eat it, or is it like a giant rat?" "It looks like a giant rat to me," said the drunken woman. "It is a rattle." "It is honey and chicken," answered Melina, opening her basket further. It's R-A-T-E-L, rattle. That's the type of animal it is. Look it up. "I knew it. It was a giant rat," exclaimed the old woman. "It is a rattle, not a rat," said Melina. "What's the difference?" "The size for one thing," said Melina, removing the entire portion of the basket to showcase Augustus. "That thing is huge," exclaimed Boris. "You should have it enter a dog fight. It will certainly make it interesting," said the old woman. "I can't because it's not a dog," said Melina. "Just say that it's a crossbreed between a fox and a wolf," suggested Boris. "No, and I have things I must attend to. Good day," said Melina, closing the lid of her picnic basket, and she then settled her linen purse on her shoulder. "Do you need help carrying that little critter? I can easily carry it back to the palace after my nightly rounds," offered Boris. "Don't worry, I can manage on my own," said Melina, walking off. And she aimlessly wandered through the poor district into darkness fell, and she sat for 2 hours beside an old man sleeping outside, and from time to time a nobleman would pass by and offer Melina alms. And Melina collected the alms, and she placed it within the empty cup of the old sleeping old man. And Augustus whimpered a little when he saw his surroundings, and Melina smiled and whispered, "Don't tell me that the brave knight is afraid of a few poor desperate people." Augustus shook his head, and then he pointed in the direction of the palace. "Not yet. I still have a few more rounds to do, and I could send you back with Boris if you're tired of slumming with me," said Melina, petting Augustus' head. A cat growled and hissed when he saw Augustus, and Melina dusted her pink skirt to continue on her way, and she stopped by a decrepit apartment, and after climbing 5 stories, she knocked on the door, and a maiden in a peasant outfit bowed, and then she looked left and right before letting Melina come within, and the maiden asked, "Are you certain you weren't followed?" Melina shrugged her shoulders in response, and the peasant girl locked the door behind her, and Melina sat in the undershare of the small kitchen, and the only source of light came from a candlestand in the center of a small writing table. The girl brought out another chair from her bedroom and huddled closer to Melina, and she asked, "Do you get it?" "Yes, but I doubt it would do you any good," said Melina, opening her purse and handing a few manuscripts. The girl read through the papers, and she kissed Melina on the cheek, and Melina noticed Augustus' quixotic expression, and pointing towards the peasant girl, she said, "This is Blenda of Aragon, the bastard of Godfrey, and she asked me to find papers to legitimize her claim to some of the income generated by the properties under the Godfrey name." "Who are you talking to?" inquired Blenda. My new pet, said Melina, pointing to her basket. That's the biggest rat I have ever seen in my life. And what have you been feeding it? Inquired Blenda, looking at the basket. Honey and chicken wings, said Melina. It's no wonder it's gotten so big. I know you take pity on just about any poor defenseless creature, but helping a rat get this big, I think it is a little too far, commented Blenda. Sure it is, said Melina, nodding in approval. Augusta started crying at Brenda, and Melina kicked the side of the basket to make Augusta quiet down, and Blenda asked, what's wrong with the little critter? Is it hungry again? I have a bit of honey I can give it. Don't bother, my pet had a big lunch. And Melina added, how's your father, by the way? Sad and ungrateful, and whatever pittance he gets from Imperia, he gambles away, and it is a miracle I can even keep a roof over our head with a measly salary I make, said Blenda. Imperia will not let you share in the wealth, and she would rather that the entire Godfrey bloodline sinks into poverty than to allow her to extort you to learn the truth, explained Melina. How can my sister not know about us? Inquired Brenda. My dear Agustina is too self-centered, and to make matters worse, she seems that she has a berserker spirit, and she uses our delusion as an excuse to be a jerk to everyone, and to make matters worse, she doesn't realize that all of the people in their palace are lying to their crooked teeth. And Imperial loves us ever so much to allow her to learn the truth about her father, explained Melina. Time, bro?
2 minutes.
Augustus whimpered when he heard this, and he climbed out of the basket, and he started to scratch at the door, and Blenda nodded and said, so what you're telling me is that all of these properties truly belong to Imperia? Yes and no, said Melina. The document stipulates that the properties belong to the daughter of Biran Godfrey of Aragon. If you want to be a jerk about it, you could use it to leave your sister penniless. After all, she legally became a man, and the documents only apply to the Godfrey's daughter. I'm not as heartless as my father, still I could use this information to gain some sort of leverage with the queen, said Blenda thoughtfully. I wouldn't recommend it. Anyone who has tried to blackmail Imperia has ended up floating in the river, warned Melina. Can you just talk to Imperia about this? Doesn't she listen to you? Said Blenda. Don't you think I already have? But in this, she will not yield, said Melina. And she took both of Blenda's hands before saying, have faith, it'll work, I guarantee it. I hope so, Melina, said Blenda, resting her head on her hand. And Melina removed all of her jewelry, and she handed it to Blenda, and she whispered, be careful where you pawn this off. This is just about all I was able to smuggle out of the palace. And it should help keep you sustained for a couple of more months. Thank you, said Blenda, kissing Melina's hand. Augusta was thoughtful on the way back to the palace, and one of the guards at the entrance informed Melina that Imperia wanted to see her. And Melina did not bother taking Augustus to her room, and she entered Imperia's office while carrying Augustus in her basket. And Imperia beckoned Melina to sit down, and she started as thus. I know that you have been visiting the bastard of Godfrey. What of him? You know I do charity work in Sassari every so often, said Melina disdainfully. Yes, and your work has certainly improved our image. My problem has to do with Agustina's disappearance. You wouldn't have accidentally told her about her father, said Imperia, narrowing her eyes. I wouldn't dream of it. I always keep my promise, Imperia, said Melina, folding her arms. I know you do. When was the last time you saw her? Asked the queen. I last spoke with her by the lake, and she has not spoken to me ever since, answered Melina. Imperia curled her upper lip, and she did not like this one bit, the way that Melina had carefully phrased her answer. Because the reason why she hasn't spoken to the sheik since then is because the sheik was turned into a rattle. So she lost the ability to speak, so she's technically saying the truth while not telling the queen what she did to the poor woman.
Why a rattle all those things? I don't even know what that is.
Rattle. A rat? No, it's a rattle. Look it up. She knew that Melina was hiding something, but she did not know what. In the end, Imperia said, get out of my sight. Melina gave a slight courtesy, and then she left Imperia's presence. And she made her way towards her room, and from time to time she would look over her shoulder and frown. And this constant looking behind her shoulder was making Augustus paranoid. And Melina gave a sigh of relief when she entered her room, and she locked the door behind her, and she tiptoed her way towards the bathroom. And once inside, she got Augustus out of the basket, and she could hear Franny snoring in the room. And Melina removed her dirty pink dress, and she placed it inside the hamper, and she then poured water into the bathtub. And for reasons that nobody understood, the water of Sassari's aquifer always came out boiling, and even the artificial light was somewhat warm since hot water rose to the surface from time to time. Melina carried Augustus into the water, and she sat in the tub with him, and she then rested her head on her shoulder. And to Augustus it seemed to him that Melina was falling asleep. However, Melina took another sigh before opening her eyes again. And the next morning, Imperia was surprised to see Augustus wearing a dress, and it was one of Melina's pink satin dresses. Augustus' short red hair was combed back and held in place by a pink ribbon. And whenever somebody asked Augustus where he had been, he responded that he had gone on a journey. He was not too keen on informing others of the time he spent as a rato, or a giant rat as other people used to call him. Imperia was less concerned about the dress and more worried about Augustus' changing attitude. During his time as a rato, Augustus had mastered the ever-elusive art of listening, and he was quieter, and he always waited now each word that he spoke. Lucrezia noticed and she asked, "Did you lose another duel?" "Yes," said Augustus. "You seem a bit different, and I'm referring to you wearing one of Melina's dresses," said Lucrezia. Augustus was quiet for a moment before saying, I had nothing to change to." "Aha, something did happen. Come on, tell me, please. I won't promise I won't tell," implored Lucrezia. "Fine," said Augustus, yielding to his little sister's plea, and he added, "But you must promise to take this secret to your grave." "My lips are sealed," said Lucrezia, giggling. Alright, time, bro?
7 minutes.
Alright, good. Well, we made it to the end of the chapter, Vavanga.